The desert wind howled across the Sinai Peninsula, carrying whispers of secrets buried for millennia. In a forgotten corner of this sun-scorched expanse, where jagged rocks clawed at the sky, a team of archaeologists knelt in the dust, their hands trembling as they brushed away centuries of sediment. They had come chasing rumors, fragments of ancient texts, and a stubborn hope that the impossible might be true. What they uncovered would send shockwaves through the world, a relic that could be the Ark of the Covenant, the sacred chest of the Hebrew Bible, a vessel of divine power and human mystery. This wasn't the golden box of legend, gleaming with cherubim and lightning. It was something humbler, yet far more provocative, a wooden chest lined with copper, sealed in a subterranean chamber, waiting in silence for 4,000 years. Its discovery would challenge everything we thought we knew about history, faith, and the ancient minds that shaped both. The story begins not with trumpets or miracles, but with a mistake. The site, a rocky outcrop dismissed by earlier expeditions as archaeologically barren, had been ignored for decades. Bedouin tales spoke of a hidden cave, but no one took them seriously until a satellite scan revealed an anomaly, a void beneath the stone. The team, a mix of international scientists, historians, and local guides, arrived expecting little more than pottery shards or a forgotten shrine. Instead, they found a sealed chamber, its entrance choked with rubble, undisturbed since the late Bronze Age. Carbon dating would later confirm the timeline, roughly 1200 BCE, aligning eerily with the biblical narrative of the Israelites' wanderings. The air inside was thick, heavy with the scent of earth and time. As their torches swept the darkness, a shape emerged from the shadows, a rectangular chest, unadorned, its surface worn but intact. At first, they thought it was a ceremonial box, perhaps a local relic of no great significance. But then they saw the details. The chest measured precisely 2.5 cubits long, 1.5 cubits wide, and 1.5 cubits high, dimensions matching the Book of Exodus to the inch. Rings on its sides, worn but unmistakable, held poles for carrying, just as Scripture described. Nearby, Proto-Hebrew inscriptions carved into the stone spoke of a sacred covenant, of a vessel revered above all others. The team stood frozen, their breath shallow, as the weight of what they'd found began to sink in. This wasn't just any artifact. It was something that could rewrite history. But the real shock came when they examined the chest itself. Unlike the golden ark of popular imagination, this one was made of acacia wood, its surface weathered to a dull gray. Instead of gold, it was lined with a thin layer of copper, a detail absent from biblical accounts. Why copper? The question gnawed at the researchers as they ran their tests. The answer, when it came, was as startling as the discovery itself. The copper, combined with mineral deposits in the surrounding stone, created conditions for natural electrical currents. Tests revealed faint traces of static electricity, enough to produce small shocks under the right circumstances. Could this explain the biblical stories of divine wrath, of men struck dead for touching the ark? The hypothesis was bold, almost unthinkable. The Ark of the Covenant, a sacred symbol, might also have been a primitive electrical device, a product of ancient ingenuity mistaken for miracles. The implications were staggering. If true, it suggested the Israelites, or the people who built this chest, had stumbled upon principles of natural science, harnessing them in ways that seemed divine to their eyes. The copper lining, insulated by the wood, could have acted as a rudimentary capacitor, storing and releasing energy. The chamber's geological makeup, rich in quartz and other conductive minerals, amplified the effect. In an era when lightning was seen as the voice of God, a chest that sparked or shocked would have been nothing short of supernatural. The team began to wonder, was the Ark a religious artifact, a technological experiment, or both? Did its creators understand the forces they were manipulating, or did they attribute the effects to a higher power? The discovery wasn't without controversy. As news leaked, the academic world erupted in debate. Some scholars hailed it as the find of the century, proof that the biblical narrative had historical roots. Others urged caution, pointing out that sacred chests were common across ancient cultures, from Egyptian shrines to Mesopotamian reliquaries. This could be a local imitation, they argued, a coincidence that happened to match the Exodus description. The absence of the ark's supposed contents, the stone tablets of the Ten Commandments, Aaron's rod, a jar of manna, further fueled skepticism. The chest was empty, its interior scoured by time or looters. Yet the team countered with evidence from the site, ceremonial offerings, incense residues, and inscriptions suggesting the chest was revered, handled only by priests in rituals shrouded in secrecy. The location itself added another layer of intrigue. The Sinai Peninsula, long thought archaeologically exhausted, wasn't a traditional candidate for the ark's resting place. Jerusalem's Temple Mount, Ethiopia's Aksum, and Egypt's deserts had all been searched exhaustively. But this remote site, far from ancient trade routes, suggested a different story. Ground-penetrating radar revealed more chambers nearby, some still sealed, hinting at a larger complex. If the Israelites, or a related people, had stored the ark here, it could force a re-evaluation of their migration routes during the Exodus. Were they more nomadic than we thought, their sacred objects hidden in obscure outposts? Or was this chest a later creation, a replica or prototype inspired by older traditions? As the team dug deeper, they found clues that painted a vivid picture of the chest's makers. Trace elements in the copper suggested it came from the mines of Timnah, a known source for ancient Egyptian metalwork. This implied trade networks stretching hundreds of miles, connecting the Sinai to the broader Near East. The craftsmanship, though simple, was precise, the wood joined with techniques advanced for the period. Nearby artifacts, pottery, stone tools, remnants of woven cloth, suggested a community that valued ritual and reverence. The chest wasn't a casual creation. It was the centerpiece of a sacred space, hidden from the world for reasons lost to time. The world outside the dig site was less measured. Social media exploded with theories, from plausible to absurd. Some claimed the chest held alien technology, others saw it as a sign of apocalyptic prophecy. Religious leaders tread carefully, aware that such a find could both affirm and unsettle deeply held beliefs. For some, it was a confirmation of Scripture's truth. For others, the idea of a technological ark threatened to reduce a divine artifact to a human invention. The team, wary of sensationalism, published their findings in a peer-reviewed journal, inviting scrutiny from scientists, theologians, and historians. They avoided calling it the ark outright, instead describing it as a significant ritual object with biblical parallels. But the public had no such restraint. Documentaries were greenlit, news outlets clamored for exclusives, and the chest became a cultural phenomenon overnight. What made this discovery so captivating wasn't just its physicality, but its ability to bridge worlds. It connected the ancient to the modern, the sacred to the scientific. The chest's dimensions, so precisely aligned with Scripture, couldn't be dismissed as chance. Its copper lining, with its faint electrical hum, hinted at a knowledge we rarely attribute to the past. Yet its simplicity, wood and metal, unadorned by gold, spoke of a people grounded in practicality, even as they reached for the divine. The chest was a paradox, a relic of faith that invited skepticism, a symbol of power that felt humanly fragile. Standing before it, even the most hardened researchers felt something stir. The chamber, lit only by flickering torches, seemed to hum with the weight of history. The chest sat silently, its surface scarred by time, yet it carried an undeniable presence. Was it the power of suggestion, the allure of legend? Or was there something deeper, a connection to the people who crafted it, who carried it across deserts, who believed it held the essence of their covenant with God? The team's lead archaeologist, a grizzled veteran of countless digs, admitted to a moment of awe. "It's not about miracles," she said. "It's about meaning. This thing, whatever it is, meant everything to someone." The discovery raised questions that went beyond archaeology. If this was the ark, or even a close cousin, what did it say about the people who built it? Were they priests, artisans, or accidental scientists, experimenting with forces they couldn't fully grasp? The electrical hypothesis, while compelling, wasn't definitive. Some experts suggested the shocks were incidental, a byproduct of the materials rather than an intentional design. Others argued the chest was purely symbolic, its power a metaphor for the fear and reverence it inspired. The truth, as always, lay in the gray space between. The site itself became a focal point for new expeditions. The additional chambers, still under exploration, promised more answers. Early scans suggested altars, scrolls, perhaps even priestly garments preserved in the dry air. Each find added a piece to the puzzle, revealing a community that lived and worshipped in the shadow of this chest. The inscriptions, still being translated, hinted at rituals performed only once a year, echoing the biblical Yom Kippur, when the high priest approached the ark behind a veil. The parallels were uncanny, but they also raised a tantalizing possibility. What if this wasn't the only ark? Could there have been multiple sacred chests, each serving a different purpose, scattered across the ancient world? The chest's journey didn't end in the desert. Under tight security, it was moved to a climate-controlled lab for further study. Digital reconstructions and 3D imaging allowed researchers worldwide to examine it without risking damage. The goal was transparency, a chance for the global community to weigh in. Yet the artifact remained elusive, refusing to yield all its secrets. No divine lightning, no hidden compartments, just a box that had survived the centuries, carrying with it the hopes and fears of a long-dead people. As the world grappled with its meaning, the chest became a mirror, reflecting what each person wanted to see. To the faithful, it was a testament to God's presence. To the curious, it was a window into a lost world. To the skeptics, it was a reminder that even the grandest stories have humble roots. The team continued their work, sifting through the sand, knowing that every fragment they uncovered brought them closer to understanding. The chest, whether the Ark of the Covenant or a forgotten relic, had done what it was always meant to do. It inspired wonder, provoked questions, and reminded us that the past is never truly gone. In the stillness of the Sinai, where the wind still carries whispers of the ancients, the discovery stood as a testament to human ingenuity and belief. It wasn't about proving the Bible true or false, about miracles or science. It was about a people who built something sacred, who carried it through the wilderness, who saw in it a connection to something greater. And now, thousands of years later, we stand before it, dust on our hands, hearts racing, wondering what else lies waiting beneath the earth, just beyond the reach of time.